Yeah, the brand identity was really the first priority from a design standpoint, to make sure that it's clearly a BMW. However, I think it's also really important that it works as well as a BMW. So that's one of the great challenges with racing projects, is that, yeah, there's an identity element, but the efficiency of performance is essential. For a car like this, I think at the front it's a great example. You know, we have the kidneys, and they're flanked by the twin Icon headlights. But the great thing about these kidneys is that they're entirely flow through. So if you look at a modern prototype, you know, they have this very open architecture at the front. And so these kidneys really coincide with that function. And so all the air that goes through them, it goes under them, also goes under the essential front splitter, is really important to the function of the car, not only from a cooling standpoint, but also the aerodynamic downforce and efficiency. And so intermingling those brand elements with the function of the car, I think is really what brings the authenticity also. And I think that constellation is something that makes it instantly recognizable as a BMW. Obviously, you see the tires through the top of the nose. That's a regulation that's required from a aerodynamic safety standpoint. Obviously, the tire then becomes a little bit more visible. So in that way, I think it's always cool to see the real technical elements of the car. On the side, you guys do a beautiful job with your graphics, and to me, that really makes the side really come alive. It's something that we always design for from the beginning, and hopefully it's like somehow harmonized. If we transition around from the front of the car to the side, the first thing you might actually notice is that there's an inclination to the front. So it actually has the shark nose, which is so iconic for BMW, and we built that into the car, and that really helps motivate the car forward from a visual standpoint. And that really works well with the determined expression at the front. So the shark nose is something important to mention. We keep coming around. Obviously the Michelins, which we love. Here's some cool bits, is that this, let's say, boomerang shape is something that if you look at the current M4 that's on the street, this shape is very, very similar to where the air breather feature is, just behind the front wheel arch. This side pod outlet, if you stick your camera in there, you can see daylight through here. And that's what I love so much about a car like this, is it has this flow-through architecture, and the aerodynamics are really helping shape the entire contour of the car. But we knew that from a functional standpoint, this was essential, but we also wanted to create that opening with this very precise line. And that's something that we do a lot with our production cars, is we have a kind of a full, generous surface, and then it's punctuated by a crisper, harder surface or line. And that's something that, again, kind of helps bring the BMW identity into the car. So at the rear, you'll see we've got the twin BMW logos. On the side, that's obviously connected to the original BMW M1, but also the XM that was recently introduced. We also have these L-shaped taillights that also have like an embedded Trinity pattern, and that's something that if you look at our most recent show cars, you'll really recognize it. So we have the essential BMW identity with the L, but also the more modernized Trinity pattern. If you look at this constellation on the rear, you'll see like a large set of bold triangular shapes. But if you look a little bit closer and you change your position, you'll recognize that those shapes actually come together to form an M. So maybe from this perspective, it looks like a deconstructed M, but if you come down and you put your camera exactly at basically axle center line, you'll see that the M clicks right into place. And so we love having that kind of Easter egg to find depending on where you view the car from. That's what's so great, I think, about racing in general, is when you do have a connection between what's on the street and what's on the track. And this project is a great example of being able to do that from a visual standpoint, but also technically. I know a lot of manufacturers like to talk about, win on Sunday, sell on Monday, but ultimately, I think BMW is always mixing those two worlds in an authentic way.